Now broadcasting from the Next Gen Conservative Studio in sunny South Florida, bringing you the latest in politics, current events, and pop culture. This is the Whitfield Report with Sam Whitfield.
And yes, I am happy to announce that rumors of my death have been greatly exaggerated. In all seriousness, though, there were a few days there in the beginning of me getting COVID where I did feel like I was going to die. No doubt about that. Anyway, welcome to the Monday edition of the show, folks, and happy May uh, to you all. Hope you guys are doing better, or doing well, I should say. I'm doing better. Um, Still a little under the weather, but I would say I'm about 95% well, so here's hoping that I test negative tomorrow for COVID, and that I can finish making a speedy recovery. Um, so anyway, um, really not much has been going on, at least not in my world, other than the fact that about a week and a half ago now, I contracted COVID, basically. End of April, uh, basically, that last Friday in, uh, April, I was feeling a bit achy Friday night, and I had a minor headache. Didn't really think it was much of anything. Um, but then went to bed. Saturday morning, like probably around 6:30, I woke up, and long story short, I just felt like shit. I literally felt like I was on death's uh, doorway. It felt like uh, my uh, ribs were on fire, and that someone had stabbed me in the stomach with one blade. And so I felt like I was being stabbed in the chest, on one hand, and then simultaneously, it felt like someone had, driven another knife into my lower back, because my lower back was killing me as well. Just, a sharp stabbing pain. Um, it was to the point, ladies and gentlemen, where the pain was so bad I couldn't breathe. And I thought, oh shit, I've got COVID for sure. But not only do I have COVID, like I have the variant of COVID that kills people. Like that's what was going on in my brain at the time, on Saturday morning. That's like kind of all I remember. I just remember thinking, oh God, I got the worst strain of COVID, and this is the one that, fucking kills people, I guess. Uh, I went out to see. I mean, my mom was in the living room, and by the way, she had COVID, too, for that week. So she had just been getting over COVID herself, and I had just had it, and I think I moaned something like, "Mom, I think I've got COVID or something." So she took my temperature, and long story short, I had like a temp of 103 degrees. So I did take like a small dose of like ivermectin, which, let me be clear, like ivermectin helps, but it's not like a big cure all. Like I think there's a misconception that people have kind of in the natural health, thing, that, if you take, ivermectin and just rub it on you, it's going to get rid of COVID immediately, and you'll no. I mean, I took a very small dose, which did help. And then basically, my mom, basically for the next several days, uh, gave me um, basically aspirin and vitamin D pills that I took with water. And and I was pounding water like crazy too. My God, I was I was drinking a ton of water. Basically, my life for the past week, up until this weekend, really consisted of living on the couch, eating bland foods, uh, sleeping, and taking, uh, you know, aspirin and vitamin D, and more sleeping, and drinking water, if I didn't mention that already. So yeah, not a whole lot has been, going on in my world, other than just, I guess, trying to get back to normalcy. However, I am aware, or I became aware, I should say, on Tuesday, once my fever broke. Um, you know, the fever breaking on Tuesday, that was a huge part of, me you know, getting back to feeling good. And I'm glad that happened. But then on Tuesday, I did check Twitter for the first time in like a couple of days, and I was aware that uh, Davy Crocco, or David Marcello, who ran the Davy Crocco channel, I do understand that he passed away. And so, I was saddened to hear about that, um, because I do know that Davy Crocco, uh, he had his struggles with substance abuse problems off and on throughout his life. And, uh, you know, when I knew Davy through all the Owen Benjamin stuff, it seemed like he had kind of it seemed like he had turned his life around, and was kind of moving past that. Um, yeah, I know that he had been clean for, a couple of years at that point, and seemed to maintain a, steady job of on his own and whatnot. So, um, it was very sad to hear of his death. You know, there have been rumors going around regarding his death that he had relapsed, you know, and overdosed on some sort of drug. And honestly, I don't know what happened with Davy's death. At this point, nobody really knows what happened. And, you know, uh, I don't want to be the one to, continue to further any rumors or any speculation. Um, all I know is that I had talked to Davey, a few, like probably about a month or so ago, about doing like an Owen Benjamin, you know, kind of update stream with him, on Rumble, and then we just never got around to it. My schedule got busy, his schedule got busy, and we just never got around to it, unfortunately. But I had streamed with him a few times, regarding the Owen Benjamin stuff and some of the January 6th stuff after that happened. And Davey was a bit of a character, I will say that. He had some controversial views, to say the least. I didn't always agree with all of his viewpoints. I thought some of his takes were a little out there myself, but Davey was also a guy who never forced his views on anyone, and was always amicable, at least with me and most of the people that I was interacting with. So I don't really have anything to I don't really have anything negative to say about him. Um, I just, it's sad that he passed, and I hope I hope he can find some semblance of peace wherever he is now. And it's a real bummer that he passed. And so Davey, here's hoping that you're in a better place. God bless you, and may God have mercy on your soul, and maybe I'll see you in heaven someday, my friend. I'm certainly hoping that that's the case. So yeah. So I heard about Davy Crocco and his passing, and that was unfortunate. Never like to hear about the passing of kind of a colleague in podcasting. But not a whole lot I can do. So just prayers to his family and in real life friends, I guess. So other than that, like I said, I was mainly just recovering this past week. Really didn't follow the news at all or anything. And it really, I did scour the headlines a little bit before hitting the record button for this episode, and doesn't really seem like a whole lot happened this week. I guess the World Health Organization finally decided to end the worldwide COVID emergency, which I kind of find to be a bit hilarious and a bit ironic, considering that the WHO fucking decided to end the COVID world crisis the same week that I fucking get it, right? Go figure. But, that's just the way that thing happens, I guess. You know, any ominous conspiracy there? Maybe. But no, in all seriousness, it was probably just some weird timing. Who knows? Um, Other than that, I really can't think of much that happens as far as the news is concerned. Um, whatnot. Um, the only other thing that I can really think of is the fact that I do know that uh, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which is the sequel to Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, that game released. And for those of you asking, no, I have not played it yet. Um, And as per usual, or seems to be, the standard case for games these days, it was released with bugs and glitches, and they already had a day one gaming patch, which I guess has fixed some of the issues on various consoles, but not all of them. And this is something that, I've ranted about before, whether it be with Max or with Akaba, but it really is a shame that for the past you know, really for the past two generations of game consoles, or I guess gaming PCs, however you want to look at it. You know, for the past decade really or so, um, gamers have been treated, in heavy air quotes, uh, to games that retail for $70 and are pretty much broken on launch day, and yet they wonder why the gaming industry wonders why people are so hesitant to spend money to buy new consoles and to buy new games. It's shit like this where basically the big gaming companies, uh, they release games now that are basically incomplete, and they're asking top dollar for them. I could understand uh, if you want to, if you charge $70 for a game at launch, and that game is pretty, near next to flawless. Like I get that. Uh, if you're going to release a game at $70, like it had better be nearly perfect, right? It had better be uh near flawless, ready to play without a hitch across various consoles and game systems, right? I that's bare minimum. But now it seems like, well, you know, give us your $70, and yeah, the game is going to be glitchy and incomplete, but we'll patch the game over time. And it's like the way I explained it to one of my neighbors who isn't a gamer is it's almost like if you were to own like a Tesla or something like that, a very high end electric car, and you know you spend $40,000 for the Tesla A model, but the software is janky, and they know it's janky, but they're going to ask you, to spend that $40,000, and also the battery is unstable too. The batter chemistry isn't stable, but they'll, don't worry, you've already paid your 40,000, so they'll work on it over time to, make sure that it's stable. Are you really going to want to, spend your money on that for a partially incomplete product? No, no one would. And yet, this is what the gaming industry does repeatedly. They've done it for years, and I don't want to go off on too much of a rant about this because at this point it just seems extremely repetitive that we're even having this conversation. But it is what it is. So, for those you wondering, I have not played Jedi Survivor yet. Probably not going to until June or maybe even July at this point if they can get their fixes in relatively soon. But anyway, that's kind of the only big thing that happened this week is Star Wars Jedi Survivor launched, and as per usual in gaming now, it came out with bugs and whatnot. So kind of disappointing, but not really, you know, that surprising, I guess. One thing that is kind of good and refreshing is the fact that the Spider-Man PS5 remaster was, I guess, re-released onto the PlayStation Store, and that game is flawless. And it's a remaster of the PS4 game, but still, um, it looks flawless and it plays great, and can't complain about it. And it was only $10 for me to upgrade from the PS4 version, so that was a win-win as well. And other than that, I can't really think of anything else that's been going on. As you guys can hear, I've still got like a little bit of a lingering cough, and trying to keep it, pretty low key here and not exert a lot of energy, which is why today's episode is so short. But nevertheless, I figured I would just like to, come on here and let you guys know that I am in fact okay, and that I am on the mend, but it's still going to take a couple of days for me to be at 100% entirely. So anyway, folks, I want to thank you for tuning into today's episode. Hopefully, I'll be back for Wednesday's show with Max and Shmuley. Not yet sure what we're going to talk about or if we're going to have a guest, but should be a pretty good one if we do have this show. And thank you to everyone who has wished me a speedy recovery so far. I've been deeply moved by everyone who has reached out, and it really does mean a lot to me. So anyway, I guess I'll talk at you down the road, and thank you for all your continued thoughts and prayers, and I'll see you on the next episode of the show. God bless.
Thanks for listening to The Whitfield Report on the NGC Network. Please visit Sam's website at www.thesamwhitfield.com and support Sam on Patreon at patreon.com/Whitfield Report. Until next time, God bless, God save this great nation, and God, freedom, legacy, in that order.